Lord forgive me for this trap shit. Sergeant Smack making backflip. Telly Hank did with the action. With the vital speaking Spanish. Frank Matthews how I vanish. Poof. Came back like I'm King Tut. Gold BBS is on a beamer. When Fat Cat was 10 queens up. Ball off the profit, not the re-up. Fly like Puerto Rican Jesus. Uptown like I'm Baby May. Just caught a touchdown from the Bay.
Police also arrested these two 17-year-olds in connection to a mass shooting. 8 people shot. 1 died outside the Eleanor Roosevelt houses over the summer.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us here on News 12 Brooklyn. I'm Kurt Semder, and the investigation continues at this hour in the search for 2 gunmen who opened fire in a NYCHA playground. 8 adults were shot and are in the hospital. News 12's Mary Lynn Buckley has been at the scene for several hours, joins us right now with the very latest.
We've seen dozens of police officers walking up and down here on DeKalb Avenue, and you can see behind me investigators still here on scene. They've put down several evidence markers on the ground. We've seen more than 20 placed here, and we're told that shots rang out around 12:30 last night. A total of 8 people shot, 5 women and 3 men. Community members here telling us they are still shaken up.
It's a sad situation this morning, but I just wish everybody as parents and men and women we all got to sit down and come together in our community and just try to stop certain things that's hurting us.
Majority of the shots were fired on this playground. We're also told 2 bullets struck windows of 2 apartments located across the street on DeKalb Avenue. We were able to see one of those windows that was hit by a bullet. All of the victims were young adults, ages 18 to 27 years old. They are all expected to survive. Police also say they were firearm from the scene, but they are turning to the public for help in identifying the 2 suspects who they believe pulled the trigger.
No arrests at this time, and I'm urging anyone with any information about this incident to call the Crime Stoppers hotline.
Right now, we're asking for any help we can get. Like I said, there's about 100 to 150 people out here. People saw what happened.
It's unclear at this time whether or not this shooting was gang related, but police, they're turning to the public for help, hoping an eyewitness can come forward and provide some sort of information that will help lead to an arrest. In Bed-Stuy, I'm Mary Lynn Buckley. News 12.
It's 4:30 Tuesday morning at a secret location in Brooklyn. Expect the unexpected. Dozens of NYPD detectives are getting ready to take down alleged gang members in a series of raids. The officers go over their plan of execution. Pix 11 is inside a tactical meeting as the final preparations are underway. But first order of business, a reminder.
Please stay safe out there.
Safety first because of the violent history of these gangs. All are teenagers about to get an early morning surprise when these detectives arrive at their front doors.
Remember, when you go through that door, every one of these individuals possessed a gun or used a gun. Be cognizant of that when you go through. Safety, #1 priority today.
Detectives then suit up with equipment in hand and roll out. We ride along as they are on the move. The raids are well orchestrated, done simultaneously. They're targeting 17 alleged offenders. We are at the Walt Whitman houses in Fort Greene, where detectives say 3 of the most violent live.
Yeah, I'm on the stairs.
In the shadow of darkness, highly trained and heavily armed detectives file in. They even position themselves on the roof of the building. And in minutes, one by one of the alleged gang members are in custody, including 17-year-old Giovanni Bennett. He's accused of firing a gun right outside of MetroTech in broad daylight. A bullet hit a 19-year-old college student, an innocent bystander. Police also arrested these 2 17-year-olds in connection to a mass shooting. 8 people shot. 1 died outside the Eleanor Roosevelt houses over the summer.
These 3 that came this morning are the worst of the worst that we brought in. These are the 3 individuals that ran around our Brooklyn streets
with no regard for community.
Deputy Chief John Schell, head of Brooklyn North Detectives, tells Pix 11 this takedown just made the streets safer in the city. Overall, these alleged gang members of 3 crews are accused of 15 acts of violence, including 4 murders and 8 attempted murders. Police recovered 20 guns during the course of this investigation. An example, Chief Schell says, of what's to come.
Gang violence is an issue in New York City. This sends a message to them if they're out there. Heed what we're doing this morning, and if you continue, we're coming for you.
That message to everyone who picks up a gun.
Yo, we back. It's your boy Popalot. Mobb, ties. We on our way to NYC with it. Headshot City. Brooklyn to be exact. And we gonna be all across the borough. We gonna be in East New York. We gonna go to Fort Greene. And we gonna play in Brownsville. So anybody in those areas, especially if you're in Brooklyn, y'all just check in. Now today we are gonna be covering a guy by the name of Iquan, Warlick, or 007, or Nasty. But we also going to be touching on an organization known as YPF. And that organization is important because that is going to be where Iquan Warlick spawned from. Now, according to the NYPD, the YPF is a gang that was made of 3 smaller gangs. Now, those 3 smaller gangs are going to be FNO, or Fort Niggas Only, or Fear No One. They're going to say that they controlled a section in and around the 88 precinct, specifically the Ingersoll houses and the surrounding areas in Fort Greene. Then you're going to have the PPP organization, or Pistol Packing Picking. And it was said that that particular gang controlled territory in and around the 75th precinct, specifically the area of 2211 Pickens Avenue, known as Florentino Plaza. And then you're going to have the young, wild, and hustling set of the gang. And it was said that they controlled the area in and around the 73rd precinct, specifically the Langston Hughes, Van Dyke, and Cephalo houses, and the Brownsville section of Brooklyn. Now, according to the district attorney, Eric Gonzalez, he would go on to say that this successful takedown is part of their ongoing strategy to reduce shootings and senseless deaths by targeting the most violent offenders in their community. And he stated that a particularly troubling aspect of this specific case is that many of the defendants in this case were teenagers, including an individual charged in connection with 3 murders allegedly committed when he was only 16. Now, with that being mentioned at the indictment for the group where 17 people was indicted, it wouldn't be long before that 16-year-old who was 17 at the time was identified as Iquan Warlick. And this is just so crazy because they were at an ongoing turf war with several gangs. And what I noticed is a lot of people died that weren't really even gang members. Now, it's alleged that on October 28th, 2020, at approximately 6:05 p.m., FNO members Iquan Warlick and Nakai Addison got off the train in East New York and walked over to a bodega located on 296 New Lots Avenue. Now, at the time, the specific rival that they were looking for was inside of the bodega waiting for food. Now, he was with another gentleman by the name of Sherrod McCoy, who was an 18-year-old college freshman. He was not affiliated with any gang whatsoever. Now, they would go on to say that the rival would step outside of the bodega. He would see Warlick and Addison. It would be at that time he would re-enter the bodega to warn McCoy about Warlick and Addison. It wouldn't be long after that that the 2 assailants would enter the bodega. Warlick allegedly pulled out a gun and chased McCoy outside of the bodega and then fired multiple shots, which would end up killing him. Now, Addison would then take the gun from Warlick and return to the bodega and fire additional shots towards the rear of the bodega where the suspected rival ran to hide for cover. Now, not even a month from that first shooting, it would probably be the one and the most infamous shooting that the gang was involved with on November 22nd, 2020. It's going to be then when allegedly a guy by the name of George Rasher Jr., Iquan Warlick, and at least two unidentified individuals traveled to East New York from Fort Greene in a car to a birthday party for a 16-year-old in which they thought enemies of YPF would be in attendance. Upon arriving to the Bed-Stuy section of Brooklyn, it was said that they encountered a group located near the venue, and authorities would say that one of the unidentified individuals would open fire on that group, striking somebody in the leg. At that time, the group with George Rasher and Iquan Warlick would chase that group of individuals around the corner, and Rasher would allegedly open fire on them, causing property damage. Unfortunately, no one was hit, but the night was still young for these four gentlemen. Now, it wouldn't be long before Iquan Warlick and the three other individuals would arrive to where the party had been relocated to, which was 15 Albany Avenue in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn, which happened to be in another rival gang's territory. Now, according to NYPD, it would be at that time where Rasher and the third individual went to the third floor and allegedly fired multiple shots at partygoers there, striking and injuring 5 innocent victims and killing an innocent victim by the name of Dejana Long, who was 20 years old and was visiting from Virginia. Now, Warlick and the fourth individual remained at the first floor, where they each allegedly fired shots toward a group that was located right in the stairwell, striking and injuring 2 individuals who were near the elevator and on the first floor. It would be amidst all of this chaos where Iquan Warlick would be identified in a shooting at the Eleanor Roosevelt housing project that injured 8 people and killed 1. So pretty much in a span of a short time, he went from football star, some say basketball star, or basketball player, football player, because we don't know how good he was in these sports, but they alleged that he was a school kid, and this gang was being tracked heavily, and a lot of these new gangs operate online, operate on social media. They had group chats going, and the authorities would watch them from the group chat. One of the murders that Iquan Warlick that happened to be involved with that I ain't even really speak on was one in Fort Greene, where I want to say it was a guy by the name of Sleepy, if I'm not mistaken, where he was watching and stalking this guy from a window and in a group chat with other individuals for a gang saying, hey, he's located at this place, giving them the address or the street coordinates. Hey, he's located here. After a while, where he didn't see that they were coming out, he said he was coming outside to handle the business. And it wouldn't be long after that where somebody would come and eventually shoot and kill this person who was alleged a rival drug dealer or a drug dealer in the Fort Greene area. So he turned real cold-blooded. And that's one thing that they said on his social media. He put that something happened that turned me cold. They never elaborated or went into detail on what that was, but a lot of times when you think about it, or definitely when I think about it, when you're involved in these gangs, it pretty much changed your life. We seen it with Jakara Barnes. I liken this story to Jakara Barnes, where she was somebody going to school. Even if you're loosely involved with the gang, all it takes is somebody that you're very close to in that gang that dies, and that pulls you deeper in that gang because you feel like you need revenge for that person, or who knows what it was that he went through. But whatever it was, it turned him to a monster. And that's pretty much like the youth these days, especially involved with these gangs. I want to know what y'all think. Y'all get in the comment box, especially if y'all in Brooklyn right now, in the new gentrified Brooklyn. It's a saying, or it's said in a lot of the media outlets, that Brooklyn is pretty much a good place, but it's 6 parts of Brooklyn that are causing pretty much most of the crime. And some of these areas we named are going to be them. I think Canarsie was up there. But, yeah, they said a lot of the crime and the violence come from pretty much 6 precincts in New York, or in Brooklyn. So just imagine that. But y'all make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, on Twitter, POP_A_LOT. Y'all hit the bell right under this video so y'all know when this real trill spill shit is dropping. Y'all make sure y'all get at me. Let me know what cities we need to go to, what gangsters we need to cover, what stories we missed. And y'all know I'm here for all of it. Y'all tweet me, direct message me, email me, CC me, text me, call me, stop me in the streets. However y'all want to handle it, I'm here. It's your boy Popalot. It's the Mobb. Mobb, Ties.